Hi, and welcome to another video by Get It Done Home Repairs. Today, as you can see, we're inside the garage. Today's project, we're going to insulate the garage doors because with winter approaching, you know, a lot of cold comes through the doors, especially when they're real thin, like this type of a door here. These are very thin aluminum, so the cold from the outside comes right through. You'll even notice sometimes that on the door itself, you may get some condensation on this, some moisture, and when it gets extremely cold, that moisture freezes. So we have this kit that you can get, and what we're going to do is we're going to insulate the doors with a thick insulation, a little over 1 inch thick, and we're going to cut it to size, and we're going to slide it in. Let me show you how it goes in here. On the doors here, they have like a lip right here, and there's a lip right up here as well, and here, and here. So what we need to do is we need to take the insulation, put it up underneath here, and get it underneath here so that it stays there and it doesn't fall out. So let me show you what the panels look like, and then I'm going to show you how it works. Like I said, they make a lot of different kinds. This particular one is actually, I've seen people that do them with just regular insulation that you would use up in a ceiling. To me, that's not a very good way of doing it, but to each his own. With that type of insulation, you would actually put some kind of a sticky piece through. It sticks on the door, comes through, and you push the insulation over. It looks very baggy. This looks much more professional when this one is done. So let me show you what they look like. These are the panels, and most of the time these will fit any 8-foot garage door. I think it's like 7 or 8 foot garage doors. This is actually the insulation. It is a little bit longer than it needs to be. You can see that the back of it here, you see how it's a very smooth finish. It looks like almost like a painted finish. It looks really nice when it's put on there, and it looks like a very professional job. So the correct insulation is actually has these grooves cut into it. And the reason that the grooves are in there is because if you took this insulation, you tried to bend it, you see how it starts to bend? If you bend it too far, it'll snap. With the grooves in there, it allows you to bend it just a little bit further without snapping it, because it bends into those grooves, gives you that little bit of a bend inside there. All right? So now we're going to see, as you can see, it's a little bit longer than it needs to be. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut them down. We're going to cut them down to the size this way, and we may have to cut them this way. We're going to measure it and see. So let me get some tools, and we're going to do both doors. We're going to do the left and the right door. So let me get the tools, and we'll continue. Okay, now to do this job, you really don't need a lot of tools. This is what you're going to need. You don't have to, but I'm going to put a piece of wood down underneath this here so I get a nice straight edge just to cut on top of. You're going to need something, whether it's a square like this or some kind of a straight edge, a piece of wood or whatever you have, so you can cut the insulation perfectly straight. You're going to need a pen to mark on there. A pencil will not work because it's like a very shiny material, so it won't mark with that. We're going to need a razor blade or something like a utility knife or something very sharp to cut through here. And you want to make sure it's very sharp, because if it's dull, you're going to wind up ripping the paper and it's going to look terrible. So make sure you have a nice sharp razor blade. We're going to make sure we have something to measure the exact length of the insulation piece that we're going to put in here. And last but not least, you're going to need a ratchet, and I believe this is a 10 millimeter. Wrong, it's an 11 millimeter. You're going to need a ratchet with an 11 millimeter socket, and I'm going to show you why right here. When you look at the lock on here, you see how this lock attaches? The screws in the back stick through about probably 1 inch through the back over here. So what we're going to do is we're going to back these screws out just a little bit, just so we can get the insulation behind it. These screws don't stick through as far, but these stick in a little bit further. So let me loosen this up, and then I'm going to show you how to cut the insulation and measure it to the correct length. I don't take them all the way out, I just loosen them a little bit. Okay, so now the screws are backed out a little bit, the insulation will go right behind it. And like I said, these screws here, don't stick out far enough to interfere with the insulation. All right, so the next thing we're going to do now is we're going to try to measure this as close as possible without having it too long or too short. And I'm going to show you what I mean. If you look in the side right over here, you can see this space goes in the side right here. We want to get the insulation behind this in here as far as we can to this very corner back in here. So we're going to measure from in the back right here, right there, touching up against here, and we're going to measure it over here, and we're going to get an exact measurement. And we have 46 7/8. We're going to measure the bottom and make sure 46 7/8. All right, next thing we're going to do now is we're going to come over and we're going to cut our panel. We're going to measure 46 7/8. We're going to measure the other side now, exactly 46 7/8 as well. Now we have our 2 points right here. We are going to cut the shiny side first because you want the shiny side to be a perfectly smooth cut. So now we're going to line this up with the marks. We're going to take our razor blade or utility knife, or whatever you have, and we're going to make a cut. Make sure you hold your square so it doesn't move. Now what I would recommend too is you're probably thinking you can just snap this up here, break that off and have a nice seam here. Don't do it, because if you try to snap it off, it's going to break irregular and you're going to have a problem with it. So what we're going to do now is we're going to come over here and we're going to transfer that mark right here. We're going to transfer it up to the top right there. And we're going to do the exact same thing over here. And now we have our 2 marks on the back of our material. Use our razor blade again. And you can see you get a nice clean cut when you have a sharp blade. Okay. Next thing we're going to do now is we're going to come over to the door and we're going to take this and we're going to put it in. We're going to do this one here first. We're going to catch it in the bottom right here and we're going to catch it over on this side. Now we're going to push it in this way as far as we can. But see how now, see over here, it doesn't reach. This is actually too thick. So what we're going to do is we're going to hold it with one hand on top, pull it a little bit here and get it underneath here, just like that, just a little bit. And then we're going to work our way over. See how it's underneath here and here? And now we're going to work our way over and do the exact same thing. Once you get to this point, we're going to push the material this way as far as we can until it touches right in that corner, right there. And we're going to lift our bottom in place, put it behind that lip. We're going to pull out right here, and we're going to do the same thing right here. And that's it. That's our panel. All right, so now I'm going to tell you this too. Don't assume that this is 46 7/8. Don't assume that each panel is 46 7/8. Sometimes you'll have it off just a little bit, and you want to make sure that you measure it exactly up on top and on the bottom so you don't have a problem. So let's measure this one right here, and I'll show you how to put it in behind this piece right here. Grab our measuring tape. Exact same thing. You're going to touch in the back all the way in that furthest corner right there, as far as you can. I'm going to measure here. I'm going to measure here. And they're also 46 7/8. So let's grab another panel. measure 46 7/8. All right, so let's take our panel now. And just what I always do as well. Now you see this is the end here that I cut. This is the end that I put in the back here as far as I can. This part over here doesn't have a lip. See how this is nice and smooth here? There's no lip to hold it in. So we're going to push the cut in over here. So all right, we're going to take it like this. We're going to bring it in. We're going to bend it a little bit. Just like that. And we're going to push it in just a little bit until it touches all the way in this corner, right over in here. Very important that it's in that far. And now we're going to take this and we're going to catch the bottom. And we're going to put the bottom over that lip, just like that. And now we'll take the top. You're going to pull out with this hand and push in with this hand to get it underneath. And that's it, that's our second panel. Now this we can tighten back in because the screws here are now going to go into that insulation, and it'll hold the insulation as well from sliding around. Not that it's going to move, but it'll actually go right into the insulation. Okay, so this panel is now finished. This panel is finished. We're going to continue now with the panels on the bottom here. Now here is a little bit different on this side. You can see that there's a lip back in here, and there's also a lip back in here. Now we can't get it behind both lips, but we will get it back behind. So we're going to measure from the furthest point in here, like this, till right here. And we have 46 7/8 again. The same thing here, 46 7/8 again. So now we're going to put the insulation in, we're going to push it this way, and then we're going to slide it over that direction. Okay, so let me cut it to length and we'll continue. Okay, what I want to just point out to you now is that we're going to slide these insulation panels. You know, we can't get behind this one and that one at the same time. So what we're doing is we're actually cutting a small piece of insulation. We've measured how far in it goes, and it's about 2 inches. So we're 2 inches in here and here. But once we slide that panel in over there, we can't push the panel. We're still going to have that 2-inch gap in there. So what I'm doing is I'm cutting a piece of the insulation from the old one, and we're going to stick it in here so that when I push the new panel in, it's going to butt right up against it nice and tight. So, all right, let me cut that 2-inch piece, and I'll show you how to put it in. Okay, now we have our panels cut. We're going to put them back in here where they belong, like this. Just bend it a little bit, and it pushes all the way in, like that. Same thing up here, like this, and that's all the way in as well. And now we'll take our panel that we actually cut as well, and we're going to bring it in this side over here first because we want to push the panel all the way back in there. Our cut side that we cut, we're going to put inside, like this. Our factory cut side here, we're going to keep up against the side here. So again, we're going to take it and bend it slightly just to get the panel in, up on top, like this. And now we're going to push it that direction, as far as we can. Push our bottom in, pull it out. slightly. And that's it. Now you can see that this panel here touches right up against that piece of insulation that I put here, so we have no more void in a hollow area where cold air can come through. So that's in. This is in all the way. We're going to continue with the other panels now. Alright, so as you can see, just taking a few extra minutes and putting the panels inside here, it'll definitely cut down on the amount of draft through here. This insulation is going to make a big difference come the winter time. Last year in here, it was extremely cold in here. It was almost as cold in the garage as it was outside. This year, this is going to make a difference like night and day. It'll save you on the heating cost as well, because your garage will retain the heat. Especially if you pull your vehicle in the garage at night and the heat from the engine is in the garage, it'll definitely keep it a lot warmer. So that's it, you're all set. The material itself really wasn't that expensive. I got it in one of the larger parts, the home goods stores. But the material is available. You can look online, you can find it online as well. And as you can see, a little bit of time and you got a perfect job. All right, so that's it, we're all set. All right, as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.